A cold August evening. The rain had been falling for hours. Most people were already inside their homes. The tiny Irish village of Knock was almost silent. No one expected that before the night was over. An ordinary church would become one of the greatest mysteries in Christian history. Not because one person claimed to see something. Not because of a rumor, but because 15 ordinary people, men, women, teenagers, even children, would all describe the same impossible scene. No one heard a voice. No prophecy was spoken. No dramatic message was delivered. And yet, more than 140 years later, millions of people still travel to this remote Irish village, asking the same question. What did they really see? Stay with me until the end, because the final detail of this story is the one historians still struggle to explain, and it completely changed the destiny of a forgotten village forever. In 1879, Knock was almost invisible, a small farming village in Western Ireland. Poor, remote, often forgotten. Life was difficult. Families worked from sunrise until darkness. Many had already lost loved ones to famine and disease. No one imagined history would ever remember the name Knock. Its small stone church looked like hundreds of others scattered across the Irish countryside. Simple, quiet, unremarkable, and yet, sometimes history chooses the places nobody notices. Imagine yourself walking through that village. The wind is cold, rain soaks your clothes. The only sounds are the drops hitting the ground, and the distant cry of the wind across the fields. Nothing suggests that within minutes, your understanding of reality is about to change forever. Around 8 o'clock, a local woman named Mary Byrne walked past the church. At first, she almost kept walking. Something caught her attention near the church wall. She stopped, looked again, several figures, standing perfectly still, bathed in an extraordinary light. She assumed someone had placed religious statues outside. It seemed like the only reasonable explanation. She continued on her way, but the image stayed with her. A short time later, she returned. This time she wasn't alone. Another woman stood beside her. Both stared in complete silence. The figures were still there, exactly where they had been before. Unmoving, brilliant, impossible. Neither woman could explain what they were seeing. Then something even stranger happened. More villagers began to arrive, one after another, without speaking to each other. They all looked toward the same place, and every new arrival reacted in almost exactly the same way. First confusion, then disbelief, then complete silence, because whatever stood beside that church was visible to everyone. Think about this for a moment. If only one person had claimed to witness something extraordinary, the story would probably have disappeared within days. But this wasn't one witness, or two, it was 15. Men, women, teenagers, children, people from different families, different ages, different backgrounds, each standing in a different position, each looking from a different angle. And yet, when they were questioned separately, their descriptions matched with astonishing precision. They all spoke of a brilliant light, a woman dressed in white, her hands raised in prayer. Beside her stood Saint Joseph. On the other side, Saint John the Evangelist, dressed as a bishop, appeared to be preaching. Near them, an altar, a cross, and a lamb standing peacefully upon it. No movement, no conversation, no dramatic gesture. Everything remained perfectly still, almost like heaven had opened, just long enough for ordinary people to witness it. But perhaps the strangest detail was still to come. The rain never stopped. It poured relentlessly across the village. The witnesses were soaked to the skin. The fields became mud. Water streamed down the church walls. And yet, the ground beneath the apparition remained completely dry. Several witnesses later said they walked closer, expecting the figures to disappear. They didn't. Some reached out, trying to touch them. Their hands passed through nothing. The figures remained visible, radiant, untouchable. Imagine standing there yourself. Would you trust your own eyes? Or would you convince yourself it couldn't possibly be real? That question has never truly gone away. News spread with astonishing speed. Within days, people from neighboring villages were arriving in Knock. Some came to pray, others came to investigate. Church authorities faced a difficult question. Could 15 ordinary villagers have invented the exact same story? The local archbishop ordered a formal inquiry. Each witness was interviewed separately. No group discussions, no opportunity to coordinate their answers. Investigators searched for contradictions, differences, mistakes. Instead, they found remarkable consistency. Years later, a second commission reviewed the testimonies once again. Its conclusions surprised many. The witnesses had remained credible. Their accounts had never substantially changed. Even decades later, no one became rich. No one sought fame. No one tried to build a movement around themselves. Most simply returned to their ordinary lives. as if the most extraordinary moment of their existence had become a private burden they would carry forever. And perhaps that is what makes this story so compelling. Not what they claim to have seen, but the quiet honesty with which they continued living afterward. If you're fascinated by mysteries, where history, eyewitness testimony, and faith collide, you're exactly where you belong. Subscribe and join us as we uncover the hidden stories behind the world's most extraordinary shrines, miracles, and saints. Every week we explore places where one unanswered question has echoed for generations. And trust me, the final chapter of this story is the one that keeps millions of pilgrims returning to Knock even today. When the investigation ended, life in Knock slowly returned to normal. The rain stopped, the fields dried, the villagers went back to their farms. But something had changed forever. People began arriving from neighboring counties, then from across Ireland, then from other countries. Everyone wanted to stand where the 15 witnesses had stood. Everyone wanted to look at the same church wall. Everyone asked the same question. What did they see that night? Unlike many famous apparitions, Knock left behind no dramatic prophecy, no warning about the future, no mysterious secret, only silence, and perhaps that silence became the greatest mystery of all. Because silence forces people to ask questions. Why would heaven appear and say nothing? Was the message hidden in what the witnesses saw? Rather than in words, standing together were Mary, Saint Joseph, and Saint John the Evangelist. Beside them, the Lamb upon the altar, a powerful image drawn directly from the Book of Revelation. Some theologians believe the apparition wasn't meant to deliver a new message. It was meant to remind humanity of one that had existed all along. Others simply admit they don't know, and perhaps that honesty makes the story even more fascinating. Today, more than a century later, Knock has become one of the most important pilgrimage sites in Europe. Every year, millions of people walk through the sanctuary. Some come searching for healing. Others bring photographs of loved ones. Parents carry small children in their arms. Elderly pilgrims travel hundreds of miles despite illness. Some arrive with hope. Others arrive carrying grief. There are people who have prayed here after losing a child, after hearing a devastating diagnosis, before major surgery, before beginning a new life. Some leave believing they received a miracle. Others leave with something less visible, peace, and perhaps that explains why Knock has never faded into history. It isn't only a place connected to an extraordinary event. It's a place where countless ordinary people continue bringing the deepest parts of their lives. Generation after generation, the mystery never truly ends, because every pilgrim adds another chapter. Imagine yourself standing there. The rain falls around you. Cold wind moves across the Irish countryside. The church is silent. Then, a brilliant light appears. 15 strangers stop. Each sees exactly the same impossible scene. No one speaks. No one runs. No one can explain what is happening. Now ask yourself, if 15 ordinary people witnessed the same extraordinary event, what would it take for you to believe them? Was it an unexplained natural phenomenon? A shared experience no one has fully understood? Or did something truly extraordinary happen on that rainy evening in 1879? History has preserved their testimonies. The church investigated them. Millions of pilgrims still return to the place where it happened. Yet the central question remains exactly where it began. What did those 15 people really see? Perhaps that's why the story of Knock continues to endure. Not because it gives us every answer, but because it invites every generation to ask the same question. And sometimes, the greatest mysteries are not the ones we solve. They are the ones that continue changing people long after the moment has passed. If this story made you see Knock in a completely different way, tell us in the comments. What do you believe the 15 witnesses saw that rainy night? Was it a miracle, or a mystery that history still cannot explain? Your perspective might inspire someone else to look at this story from a completely new angle. And if you enjoy uncovering the hidden miracles, extraordinary shrines, and astonishing stories that have shaped faith for centuries, subscribe to Divine Eternal Stories. Every week we journey to another place where history, mystery, and hope meet, because the next story may be even harder to believe than this one.